in Zoom?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I can Skype.
There he is. Hey,
There he
Romeo.
is.
RJ, you're on.
Romeo.
You're on,
I think that's
Just make
Romeo.
sure you
Oh,
check
yeah.
out your audio
I
and
know
your microphones.
Connecting to audio. So it's just going to take a second, I think, for them because it's running a little slow. So their audio is connecting.
Is that there, Bruce?
Is that Romeo and Juliana?
That's Romeo. Yep. And then
That's
Patrick.
Romeo without the July part.
Okay.
Hey,
Good.
good.
How's everyone in the meeting? Hello, everybody.
Hey, Romeo.
This is lockdown.
Hey, hit your video button.
HSJ on lockdown.
Let me try and find it.
Bottom left corner.
Unless you're in your PJs.
Or
Well, I
naked.
just came out of the shower, so I'm pretty good.
Ah.
So good to see your face.
Yeah, it's already
Yeah.
nighttime over here.
It's been a while. Who else?
Okay,
Anybody?
let's get this meeting started. And okay, so thank you very much for everyone who's joined today. And those of you that are watching afterwards in the replay, thank you very much indeed for watching and taking part and taking time to be concerned about what's going on. So the format's going to change slightly today. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a series of points that we're going to put up with some bullet points and then with some subsections in that. And then at the end of each subject, we're going to open it up for question and answer, 5-10 minutes, depending how it goes. Don't drag it on too much. And then at the very end of it, so after every subject, there'll be a Q&A. So hold your questions until the end of the Q&A. At the very end of this meeting, it will be opened up and then we can all talk about what we want to talk about, okay? So first and foremost is the update on the corona situation. There's been quite a bit of confusion about whether or not this applies to us, the fact that we have, we are a gated community so that we have immunity, and the reality is we don't. I'm not telling anybody to stay in their houses, I'm just telling you what the law says. So the law says that from 2 o'clock, we are confined to our properties, not the house, the property. You can go out on your property, you don't have to wear a mask or anything like that, you're able to do what you need to do on your property. But as far as walking on the streets and roads here in the Hacienda, that comes under the jurisdiction now of the mandated quarantena, the quarantine. So you do need to stay on your property. Like I said, if you're on the road and you're walking around, I'm not going to call the police, but there may be someone in here that will do. So and if they do, the police will come out, and I've been told categorically if they receive a call from the Hacienda, they will be out straight away. They will then fine that person 1 week's wage. Second offense will be 4 weeks' wages. Third offense will be jail time. Okay, so you've been told. So did it apply to us? Yes, it does apply to us. I'm not mandating it here. I'm just telling you what the facts are. So it's up to you if you go out and test it. All right. Now, the other thing, the second point I want to talk about is best practice. What do we do? How do we minimize the risks? Because there are risks, clearly. If we have one case in this Hacienda, the whole place is shut down and all of us will be quarantined, okay? So that can't happen. So what are we thinking about best practice? Best practice is to minimize your interaction with workers. If you do interact with workers, have a mask and have gloves on, okay? Now, also workers coming in and out. We want to minimize the movement of workers. So, most workers now are kind of set on properties and they're not leaving. 1 or 2 people have taken it upon themselves to travel out each day and bring workers in, go drop them off lunchtime, bring them back. It stops. Now, if you've got workers on your property, they stay on your property and they work on your property. There's no coming back, going back and forth. You have to set an example, and what I'm asking you all to do is be the example that you wish to set. Okay. Now, everybody's observing the quarantine the curfew in Vilcabamba. And like I say, I'm getting a lot of pushback from San Pedro, from the parochial, San Pedro, the body that governs it. And they want to bring in more measures. And they will also talk about, can you move please? Because I got someone looks like they've got stuff going on. Yeah, so I've got the police. They're talking about wanting to bring the police down here to patrol when we're in curfew. I've refused that, and I pushed back from that because I don't want that to happen. But that's up to you guys. If you don't stay in your houses at these points in time, then the cops will be here, and nobody wants that. So just be mindful. Be the example that you wish to set. Now, what I'm going to do, because I've been doing a lot of research on viruses, and rather than go on through this now, I'm going to post something up on the website. I think it'd be extremely helpful information to allay the fears that some of us may have had. And as I say, don't believe what I'm telling you. Do your own research, but it's really, really good information, and I think it will go a long way to calm people's nerves. So on that note, a quick Q&A on the coronavirus. About any questions on that? Yes, Buddha.
You know, my wife Anasha is a lawyer, and technically I own the river park. I would like to go to that part of my my property.
Yeah.
What would you say about that? Because we own the trails. We own a lot of things here. So do they want to get nitpicky with us, or we just, because
they're gonna get
they don't have a leg to stand on, but they have the power, I understand that.
We don't. So it's very simple. These are common areas. Common areas are classed in a curfew as non-accessible. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Any other questions on it?
Can I interject real quick? So I think what it is that as far as the hacienda management, we have to follow the mandate of the government for the employees and the common areas. So for example, if a worker comes and they come up to the gate, they have to have masks and gloves because they're entering our common areas. Then once they enter the property, that's, you know, they're on the property of their boss. And then for us, again, if you go out, it's at your own risk. Because again, we have some neighbors, you know, we have people that are not on this call that are big complainers. We have people that are making a lot of complaints about workers even entering, but they're not even joining the meetings. So, but
who are these people?
Well, they're some other owners, and they're very upset that workers are even entering. And the problem is that if, say, somebody asked me yesterday, can I walk after 2 p.m.? I said, it's at your own risk. I cannot tell you if your neighbor who's very frightened of this situation for whatever reason they have may call the police on you. We don't know. We can't say. So it's at your own risk, really. We present what the official requirements are. We put those in place for our workers in our common areas, and it's up to the rest of the people to act accordingly. And if they don't, it's their own risk, really, because there are some people that will, you know, apparently turn you in or call the police. So we just want people to be aware of that. It's not us setting the
And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of this. Yeah, that's right. And let me give you an example. So, and again, without mentioning any names, because I'm not going to today. It's not a witch hunt. It's not about throwing people under buses, but a particular couple.
It is a witch hunt from their side.
From their side, it
From
is.
their side.
Come on.
No,
No,
a particular
But
couple.
we're not hunting witches. We're not
Not
hunting.
anymore. I was the last witch to be hunted.
Stop it already. So listen, so just give you an example about best practice. So as much pushback as I had about letting people in, and it's all down to an absolute minimum, and I really had a hard time from some people. Anyway, these same people were then a particular service turned up. These people went out to greet this driver with no gloves, no mask, passing cash in between their hands. Now, how responsible is that?
Yeah.
If you're telling me don't bring these people in, but then you will go out and meet these people because this service was important to you, and you will go out without a mask, without gloves, interact and pay cash, doesn't make any sense at all. So guys, be mindful. Like I keep saying, be the example you want to set. And that is a poor example. So giving me grief about letting workers in when they're all masked up and gloved up and they're doing exactly what they should do, well, you should be doing the same. So that's what I'm telling you. Best practice is what we need to be doing, always. Okay, so I think that kind of clears that up, and say look out on the website for something on coronavirus, about virus itself. And again, we've been asked by a lot of people to send things out send things out because they don't want to put their name on it. We're not doing that anymore.
That's under, yeah. under.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on. So the next question, we're going to talk about board and communication, or the board's communications, and Christina's going to lead on this one.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let everybody know, because there's been some comments made, you know, about Andy handling everything independently, and it's not really the case. So how it's working right now is we had a treasurer that resigned. That was accepted by the members. The members accepted the resignation, and there's a certain process we have to go through to satisfy Meduvi requirements when that happens. I have all the paperwork to satisfy the requirements for that resignation, and then we need all of you to spread the word to nominate another treasurer. That's the democratic process, and that's how, oh, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's, you know, we're following the democratic process and the instructions by Meduvi, and that's how we have to do that. Now, because the treasurer resigned, that leaves Andy as the president, and then Chuck is the vice president. He's unable to connect with us, and Lisa's still the chairman of the admin committee. I think Bruce is representing the security committee, so we still do have some committees. And they're Andy and I are in communication with them, and I am below all of that. I'm below the admin committee and the president. They're my bosses, and so it's not like two people are just running a show. We're in communication with who is on the board and who is the chairman of the committees. So thus far, until that, you know, if there's more committees and that gets changed. So we just wanted everybody to know that that's how it's operating. There's no dictatorships going on. There's nobody saying and I'm in control and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But somebody has to assume the management role at this juncture until the community decides on, you know, are we going to go below the bylaws? Are we going to go under Meduvi laws? You know, how do you want to see things run? And everybody's a participant in that. But again, a lot of the people that are using the label dictator are not on this call right now. So a lot of the people that want democracy or say there's not democracy, there's this, one person's controlling the show, blah, 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 or they have complaints, they're not here, they're not participating. So we don't really know what to do. One of the things we're going to do also is I have updated the owners list on the website. From now on, if people want to forward emails, for example, I got an email request today to be forwarded, but that person wanted to remain anonymous. I get that a lot, where they want me to forward the email. It's not coming from me, it's a forwarded message. So it's caused a bit of issue. Plus I get all the replies like, oh, that sounds good, or I don't agree, and then they want me to forward that little comment to the whole community. So what we're going to do now is if somebody wants to forward a message to the community, they'll go to the website, they'll copy the owners list, and they'll send it themselves. If there's an emergency or something from the board, it will come from the office. And if there's anything that's of a personal nature, like we're doing this, we're doing that, then that can be shared on a Facebook page. And we're also looking into a couple of different internal forums that can be controlled by the admin. So that way, if people get ugly with each other, it can be shut down, but it won't shut down the forum. There's one Lisa mentioned called Slack, and next door it's for neighborhood communications. So we're looking into types of communication, because what I'm understanding is there's so many emails that come out of the office. Sometimes they get filtered into garbage. People don't bother to look at them. I have to put things in bold, or people come back and ask me something I already just sent a message about. And plus there's a lot of copying into Spanish. One thing on the website, I do need help, and ECNAF has graciously helped me with a lot with the website and has been trying to train me. We need to update it a little bit, and Bruce had given me a lot of suggestions as well to upgrade the website, because we do need a translator box. We have to understand that a lot of the new members in our community are Spanish speaking. So we have to be sensitive to that and make sure we have a translation box on that as well. Let me just check my notes for anything else with communication, owners list, board only. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to say about communication. That I understand.
Sorry,
there's a lot of information.
Sorry, there's also, and again, communications, some of the issues that we've been having. So would you like to talk about the latest hack that we've had?
Oh yeah, my computer was also hacked. I had 2 messages come from the same email address, and it could have been a number of things. But the biggest flag for me was that I had changed the password back in January when I came into the office on my own. I changed the password, and the password had been changed. And I also discovered a couple of other computers on on my computer. So I deleted them, and then I set up a two process verification system. And then I'm looking at something called Rootkit that will look for any kind of spyware. And then I have to look at something for antivirus. We really should have a Mac. It would help with a lot of this, but we have what we have. So we're going to have to look into the software to protect our information.
Wow, that's a kind of disturbing news.
But it's, as you can see, this is what we're up
Twice.
against. I mean,
Twice.
and this has come locally. What we've been able to do is been able to track. We've got someone, whoever did this is very, very, very good at what they do. However, we've got someone who's extremely good at doing the reverse. So we've got as far as we're almost back now at the hacienda with the IP address, and we're going to find out who it is. But I tell you who it is now. It's an English speaking. They're English speaking. Whoever's doing this, the person, they're English speaking because it's not come from an Ecuadorian. You can tell by the vocab that's being used and the way it's been addressed that they are not Ecuadorians. They're English speaking. So this, if you need to know anything, just ask us. This is why these meetings are out. Why these meetings are being put out, so you can ask the questions without having to surreptitiously hack our computers to find out what's going on.
Buddha.
Yes, I would like to just affirm what Christina said, that the admin committee is in touch with Andy and with Christina fairly regularly. I wouldn't say every day, but quite regularly. We are tuned into stuff as it's happening. And, I don't know why people like to make rumors, but I feel Andy and Christina, they're kind of taking care of a lot of things. And
Yes, they are.
They're very open-minded, both of them, and sensitive to doing it in a fair, open way. And I really wish some of these detractors would just wake up and come into the new age, because they are really lagging behind, in my opinion. And not only my opinion, my experience, because I am involved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Buddha.
Thank you.
Let me just see, what was the next thing? The fees. Lisa was going to address talking about fees.
Well, and I feel that we do have a lot of people who in the past were not paying that are now paying, which is great. And I think there are some now that aren't paying just because of different reasons. And I think everybody just needs to be aware that there are basically two different things going on. If they're not paying their fees, for whatever reason, there's kind of two issues. One is that people have issues with another resident, or they have an issue with the management, the board, whatever. Those are just personal issues. It has nothing to do with the fees for HSJ. If you have an issue with the way something is being done, say maintenance or security or admin or whatever, let us know, and we will address those issues and try to make a change for the better. Knowing that we absolutely cannot make everybody 100% happy. We just can't, because people have different opinions and they have different ways of doing things. But what we can do is make the majority of the people happy with the way things are running. And when we do that, hopefully everybody else will fall in line and just know, hey, this is the majority and this is the way that it's best for everybody. But you can't quit paying your fees just because you're not happy with somebody or so-and-so made you mad. I mean, it has nothing to do with that. The fees are there to take care of the employees, and those employees being maintenance, security, admin. And if without that, and even I think like, what was it? 80% of the money goes towards that.
To labor.
And then, towards labor. And then like 20% goes towards upkeep with supplies and utilities and that kind of thing. So without the fees, we can't even pay our employees or get the roads fixed or make sure that the water stays clean. So those are things we all need. It has nothing to do with, well, I'm mad at so-and-so because they did this to me or whatever. We're sorry about that. And we'll, hopefully everybody can get along, but we all still need to start paying our fees. At least start paying the monthly, and maybe we can add on a little something to get the back stuff paid. But hopefully everybody understands that.
Yeah, just, you know, whatever's owed is owed, right? We're not rushing after that right now, but you have to understand that right here and now we are struggling to maintain this place. We're struggling to keep services. We're struggling to do repairs because, and we'll go on to this a little bit later on with the liabilities and that sort of stuff and why we can't spend money. But ultimately, you know, there are some people that don't agree with the way I do things, and you're absolutely entitled to do that. But that doesn't mean to say, but what's changed here? Nothing. The continuity of services has remained. There have been no breakdowns. There have been no lockdowns. There have been people haven't been missing. People have still got their jobs. All the bills are being paid. All the workers are being paid. The place is still running. The place is as good as it's ever been. It's getting better. So why on earth would you say, I'm not paying my fees because I don't like so-and-so or I don't like the other thing? If you've got a legitimate concern about any of the services that your fees go towards paying, let's hear it. But to say, well, I don't like so-and-so, and I don't like this, and I don't agree, and so Andy's a dictator, and he's doing all this on his own, has got nothing to do with anything. Your fees don't go to me. I'm working full-time for nothing. And I say for nothing, that's not actually true. I'm working full-time because I believe in this place. I believe in the majority of the community here have the ability to bring this place together. I have a forward thinking and a dream about this place. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing for free. Okay, you're just lucky you're coming along on the ride. That's all, and I'm trying to do what I can.
And what I wanted to say to that, so the proposal is that those that are behind in their fees, say your bill comes in April and your bill for that month is 200, 180 or 200. You just start paying from there forward, and then if you can tack on, you know, if whatever your budget allows, if it's $20 or something, just to go towards your back fees for right now until we can address this at some other date. But at least we get everybody back on board, trying to contribute and get it running again, and then we address the back fees and what those issues are and reasons at another time.
Right.
Just to get everybody on board. And then, you know, because at some point too, we, you know, once we get things running again, the social committee is going to actually be very important to start bringing some cohesiveness and start bringing some people together, and, you know, gardening clubs, trips to wherever, Sarah Guru, the paper making place, whatever. But it's going to start bringing some people back together and start healing some of this. And that's the best way that we can see to reach this vision and to heal right now, rather than attacking everybody, throwing lawyers and getting into all this drama and stuff. It just seems like a more peaceful way to handle it right now. And we still will have to address the back fees, but this seems like a way that might work for people.
If we can just get people to start, people will start to pay now. I mean, some of the people are sitting back and some of them think, well, I'm waiting to see what happens. Well, the only thing that's going to happen is this place is going to continue running the way it is, and it's going to get better. So what are you going to wait until everybody else, all the good people have paid, until you start paying your fee because you weren't quite certain? So let's just all be in this together, because we are all in this together. You can see what's happening around us right now. We're all in this together. There's no one person. We're all responsible. And so, you know, find it in your hearts, guys, make the right decision and start paying, because we cannot continue to pay the bills on the shoestring that we're on. There are 23 people paying for 60 people. So there's 37 now that aren't paying, and there's 23 that are. Come on, what's going on?
Right. And also we can,
Hello. I think it's a good time to actually vote to remove the illegal road fees from my bill, and then I can just pay my bill in full. That should cover a lot for everybody.
Well, that's what we're saying. If you start paying from now for, say your fees are like what, 400, start paying from there forward, and then we're going to visit all those fees owed and see what can be removed.
I'd like to visit it one shot and just get it removed, and then I just pay my back fees and I just start paying. I think there's a couple of people that
okay, let me put this forward to you then. Let me put this forward to you. I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to pay the road fees ever. The way the whole thing went through was wrong, but it is, well, in my opinion, it was wrong. I didn't enjoy doing it. I have no choice but to be current with my fees because of the position I'm in. But did I like to be saddled with 1,200 bucks? No. I don't think anybody should have been saddled with 1,200 bucks. So I think, you know, as in my opinion, and this will have to go through the rest of the board, filter through the rest of the community to pay this, I think that we have to look at this, take it off, and revisit it at a later date, because we've got the main road coming in that needs to be paid for. And I think the good people that have paid, or the people that felt that they needed to pay for this first installment, have done what they've done. The second installment will go back to people like the ones that haven't paid for that and ask them. But I think, you know, the real thing is, if this is a serious point of contention, then we have to change it. And I'm perhaps going to go out on a little bit of a limb, Lisa, or anybody wants to second me on this, and say, you know, this is a typical.
And that's
like 4 times, right? But they charge me 4 times. So my principle is pretty strong. I mean, they need to remove those fees. It's illegal. If they remove it, I will pay my bill in full and continue paying. I don't have an issue.
well,
If they
and,
don't,
I agree with Romeo. You know,
Okay,
on Romeo's point.
okay, and everyone has legitimate points that they need to make, and that's great. We, you know, those of us who are newer don't know all those backstories and don't know all that stuff that's going on. But at this point, and with that stuff that is owed in the past because of things that were done in the past, absolutely that stuff needs to be looked at, and it needs to be handled, and either, you know, decisions made on that. But what we're saying as far as current fees is that as of today, those issues don't have anything to do with what's going on today.
Correct.
So if we start monthly for now, then we can come back and address those others later.
One at a time.
I completely understand what you were saying. I completely think that would be a perfect solution. But there are some of us, and there are a lot of people within the community who are specifically not paying, and that is the only way they can use their power to change things around them.
Right.
And this is exactly why these people won't just start paying immediately. And I'm giving you the example of an aspect when I would start paying immediately is when those fees are removed.
Right.
If those fees are removed, I have no issue. Apart from that, this is just another issue in the world.
Let me just add to that really quick, because I concur with Romeo. The only thing is that I have to consider the people that did pay the road and how we can appease them as well. Maybe they need like a certain credit per month towards them, towards what they did pay, and that's a way to solve that. Because there are people that did pay for the road, so we have to, if we're going to forgive payments for other people.
That's not what he's saying. Okay,
no,
so
that's not what I didn't say he was saying that. What I'm saying is a solution to those people that did actually pay towards the road. Because if we forgive payments for some people, he paid for 4 properties. Yeah. So I understand what he's saying, but I also just have to think in the back of my mind, there are the people, those 23 people or however many there were that did pay for that road. So then if we say to the other people, okay, you didn't have to pay anything towards that, we understand why, and we do understand. I do understand. But at the same time, how do I see people that
only paid once?
Right, you should only pay once, right?
correct.
Exactly. And then there's no consideration to pay guys back that paid or anything like that.
Yeah, if you only get 1 vote per property, you should only pay 1 fee per property, I think. 1 vote per member, 1 fee per member, right? Yeah.
I'm in complete agree with you. Complete agreement. It's a tricky one because, say, the people that have paid in the past, you know, what do we do for them? So
Right.
I think we're going to have to find that money somehow. Now, there's a way of
get back
doing
on
that, because if we can again, and we're going to come out and talk about liability shortly. If we can reduce our liabilities, and we hopefully found a creative way of doing that, then we can actually start to credit those people back. So if the people are paying their past fees and are paying their current fees and some of what they owed in the past, then we can actually give that money back. If it all comes out of one big pot, it's fair. And this is all about democracy. It's not about me, Christine, or anybody else. It's about all of us together. So I completely agree with what you say, Romeo. I've had this conversation in the past, and I think that we need to seriously look at this now. And if this is a sticking point, let's get it fixed.
Yeah, and we don't know the solution right now, but maybe Lisa and I can take this as an action item and look for a solution to eliminate the fees for some people and to reimburse the people who did pay, to credit them somehow and get this over time to work itself out.
I think it's a good time to actually reset and make our hacienda structure strong, as it is in the entire world, where people are having to reconsider their lives, and they are having to reconsider sitting back and think what their lives are really about. So, I mean, I think it's a perfect time to sort all of this out.
You're right. You're right. Okay, so let's drop that one down. So what we'll do, we'll speak to yourself, Romeo. We'll speak to other people that have paid, and we'll sit at the table or have a Zoom meeting like this, and we'll find a creative way of resolving this. So we're all back on the same page. It's going to take a while because some have got debts like this, some have got no debts, some are in order. So let's find a common ground, let's find a balance, and let's move forward together. And if that means people will start paying, then we've got to find that solution. Okay, so let's put this lid on that one. You'll hear more about that moving forward. Okay, so now we're coming to the audit. Wow, it's been really tough. Let me just reverse tricky to my notes because I don't want to wander off about this. So the investigating the audit, the initial investigations on the audit are looking okay. What does that mean, looking okay? Looks like, you know, things are balancing. Does that mean that that all the paperwork's in order? Does that mean that there are scheduler numbers and item numbers and dates and descriptions, all that sort of things? No, it doesn't. But it does. What it does say to us, and what we found in initial preliminary investigations, are things appear to be correct. Okay, that's what I can say. And until we've had, and again, understand, until we've had the final word from the auditor and the final word from the lawyers, we can't tell you absolutely everything. We're 90% clear about what is going on, but until we are 100%, we are 100% clear on what's going on. We just cannot, because we're trying to reduce our liability. And there's this, and if we just come out with everything that's going on now, unfortunately, not everybody in the hacienda is on our side. You know, and I understand people are on the workers' side, but you got to understand that that one person who's on the workers' side actually has the potential to create much more liability and much more mess for all of us. So that's why I'm not about to go into great detail about the discussions we're in. But what I can tell you is, well, let me just move on and get onto it. So let's go on to workers' liabilities. So we just had the workers sign the contract.
Can I just make a point before you go to the workers stuff? I just want to say something real quick. From 2009 until 2013, we don't have any books. We really don't have any books. So there's we can't do anything about it. Whatever happened, if anything happened, we have no recourse.
There are no books.
We have, yeah, because we just don't have anything. We don't have any trail. We have nothing, unfortunately. And unfortunately, we can only start from 2013 forward when the books started. The other thing is there's certain little things that people have had questions about. So we are looking deeper into those things that people had specific questions about. That's all. And then the worker stuff is big because that's 80% of the spend. Okay.
But you got to understand, you know, on this audit, we are discovering stuff that's never been looked at before. You know, we're discovering ways and means of doing things that there's just absolutely not applicable now, never can be applicable now. They may have been applicable in the past. They may have worked in the past. But that's the reason why, because moving forward from that point, nobody's looked back.
I'm sorry. We found that there has been, as we all know, changes in Ecuador come daily with government and with the way that they like things done. And things that were correct in the past or that were right or whatever just don't apply now. And so now we're having to follow the new legalities that they have set forth. And those are the things that we're still trying to figure out. We don't want to say a lot now, because if we do, and we say something that might be incorrect for the moment, and then next week we find out, oh crap, that was supposed to be this way. Then we have to come back and tell everybody again, oh, sorry, that was wrong. We'd rather just wait till we know for a fact that everything that we're telling you is correct. And then the information only has to go out once.
And people might have done things with good intentions or thinking it was the right way, we might have discovered it was the wrong way. We're not saying anything, you know, blaming anybody or doing anything like that, but we're, you know, it's very dynamic. Things change all the time. And as we know, a lot of times we foreigners like to think, well, this is how it's done in my country, I can apply it here. And some of that might have been done, but it's not the law here. So we're really trying to understand the laws. We're trying to review the bylaws. We're trying to understand everything and trying to do it the correct way.
And this is without end. The amount of, because we, you know, when we're looking at this as a new business, so we're looking at absolutely everything, and we're looking under every single stone. So, you know, on the surface, it might seem as though not a lot of things, not a lot is going on. But believe you me, we are working every single day, 7 days a week in communication. time to find a way through these gray areas that we find ourselves in. And some of them not just gray areas, they're downright traps that we need to navigate. So moving forward from that, so we have signed we have had the contract signed. The workers will go on to a monthly contract from here on in, so they will be paid monthly. We still have to talk with them to iron out a few creases because can we talk about our biggest liability and the reason why we've got that liability?
No, and it's not because of anybody on this call, but because we've had some people wanting to be advocates for the workers rather than advocates for the Hacienda San Joaquin. It's kind of put a little bit of a red flag up for us, and so we need to negotiate to clear that liability. And once that negotiation is completed, then we can share it.
And contracts are signed.
Yeah, and things are signed, because the problem is if we have people advocating for the workers, it's not, we care about the workers. We want to take care of the workers, but the workers are independent contractors. And that's all we can really say about that. And once this liability is cleared, we can all move forward more comfortably. And we've also set things up in a way where we're protected, but we can also, if we want to do performance type goals, things like that, we have that in place. So they're going to be taken care of. Everybody's going to be okay. We've looked at many different angles and solutions. It just isn't going to be, it's just going to be better on paper and better if anything happened, that we're protected as the Hacienda.
And that's what this is about. It's about protecting our liabilities. Currently, we are still at $54,000 of liability. That hasn't gone away. What we've come up with what we believe is a very creative solution to mitigate those liabilities. They're not going to go to zero. It's going to cost us a few thousand. It's going to cost us probably, I can't even say 10%, 20%. But it's a way of moving forward and getting this put to bed. Because until we put this to bed, we are liable. Period. For everything. Okay, so just moving back. So it has been. Now, is that part of that one? Or is that part of this one?
So Venora, we're working with Venora. That's where you were going.
So yeah, and on that point, I think that was still part of point 3, wasn't on the audit. So yeah, breakfast. Okay, so just moving on to our accountant at the moment. You know, everybody knows how difficult change is. We're all going through it right now, whether we want it or not. And I think maybe our accountant is struggling with change. We're still awaiting a lot of information that we've asked. We've asked for from our accountant. It's probably been about 6 weeks now since we made the initial requests. We're still waiting for quite a lot of information that will help us unravel everything that's been tightened up so tightly. So we are hopeful that that we can get this information presented to you all. Like I say, we're working full time, and given the time that we've got now with these quarantines, the corona vacation, I've got more time now to be at home. I'm with Marsha anyway, 24 hours a day, so I've got a lot of time now to dive into this. So we've got free time on our hands essentially. So hopefully we will be able to get more information out, and Venora will have more time to work with us and give us what we need. But all I can tell you now is we have a lot of outstanding information, and we're working hard to get that information onto our laps. And it's not for lack of trying or asking that we haven't got it.
That's for sure.
Okay. And again, like I say, what we know on preliminary on the audit, and again regarding our liabilities, what's here, what's not here, how things were done, how things weren't done, we're 90% sure we've got the information. But again, until the auditor says yes, that is it, and the lawyers say yes, we can talk about it, then just bear with us. We're 90% there. But again, it's the process has been made more difficult because of what's happening now with this virus nonsense. Our auditor is very choppy in between because he's got a grandmother who's already sick, and our accountant has other concerns outside of here that she's dealing with. So yeah,
There's a
it's,
few things too we've been in the dark about. One example was a previous person was hired against the wishes of many members. And that person was given a responsibility to, I think, investigate something. Well, we've never received the findings of that investigation, but that person had been paid for that. So we need to find out who owns the results of the investigation and get that turned over to us so that we can look at that area too. So it's just an example. There's just some things that we're in the dark about and we're trying to uncover or get the information passed to us and whatnot. So it just deters, it keeps, you know, it slows us down a bit. That's all.
And I think, you know, that probably kind of segues into, again, there's been, well, certainly, well, I've certainly had quite a few conversations. I wouldn't say conversations, pretty one-sided conversations about the reasons why I took responsibility. I didn't take responsibility. We, the board, Chuck, Lisa, the admin teams, were the ones that took responsibility over this because we've been left so much in the dark with everything. You know, I'm sitting there and watching stuff going on, but never any answers come. And that's a perfect example of what Christina just gave you. You know, people were employed that shouldn't have been employed, or at least there was a lot of pushback for these people to be employed. Then the information that they gathered was never disseminated. We don't have any of that information, so we're in the dark there. And we need to know about.
Right.
These things. Things need to be transparent. And again, you know, we were kept in the dark. I was told, you're just a placeholder. You don't need to know about this. But what we were seeing slowly but surely was being sat in the dark meant our liability was creeping up legally and financially. And we just could not sit there and watch this happen. It was like the old paradigm coming up and resurfacing again. That's gone. We have to move away from that. And so that's why we took the decision to make the decision to do the things that we did, like take over the accounts, move accounts, change contracts, move contracts, have more clarity with contracts, have more deeper investigation.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. That's why we are doing what we're doing now. Now, if you feel that's not democratic, then tell us, come and give us some solutions. You know, find a creative solution to help us be more democratic. Find a solution to help us to communicate better with the community. Now, it's difficult for me because I've run business on my own most of the time. And I've always been the first person to say and do things. And, you know, and it's kind of, that's the way it is. It's Andy's way. Now it's not that way, but it may appear that way because I seem to be the face that's up front all the time. But believe you me, you know, Lisa, Chuck, Christina, and myself, and one or two others are having a great input. And let me just start a few other rumors as well. Alan Lee is not behind me. Romeo is not behind me. David Smith is not behind me. There's no one behind me. I'm behind me. I'm behind me because I realize and recognize, as the rest of the board did, that if we do not do something right now, we're all at risk of losing the values of our properties, the reputation of the hacienda, and ultimately it'll fall apart. That's why we did. And we're not blaming anybody else. We're not pointing fingers at anybody. We're not throwing anyone under the bus. There's not a witch hunt. We're not going after anyone. We're just simply clearing the decks, having clarity, transparency, honesty, and moving forward. That's what we're doing.
And then just to move on, Meduvi is a big project, as you all know, to work on. What I guess we'll probably have to speak to the community, Andy, Lisa, about is you know, having too many systems. You know, right when I came in, you had Meduvi, you had chair council of owners, you had committees. Really, at the end of the day, from what I can see, the only thing that has any legal value as far as having a bank account, as far as voting your board in, any of this is Meduvi. So therefore, why make it really complicated? We need to see the bylaws that are ratified under Meduvi, follow those bylaws. And then I'm working with Christina to petition Meduvi because they make it so difficult and cumbersome to get anything done that it's inhibiting our ability to move forward with business. So what I'd like to do is, and I'm trying to find out what the disadvantages of being a Meduvi member are. And I can't see anything. I mean, if people cannot go after people individually to sue them, then there's really not a disadvantage. So what's happening now is you only have 17 eligible members, including Andy, to vote, which means 9 people. We only need 9 people to make it over 50%. 9 people are controlling the whole hacienda because those are the only people up to date with their fees and that are Meduvi members. The rest aren't. They're just members of a club, and they have to pay for their services, but they don't have any participatory
Right.
rights.
Mhm.
So it really doesn't behoove anybody to not be a member. And I am, irritated with Meduvi because it's so cumbersome. Now, like I said, we have all the acceptance. I went through the whole process to get Susan's resignation accepted. And now we do have to put out nominations for the treasurer. And then we'll have a vote on that, and then I'll get it registered with Meduvi. But to give you an example, we do have 3 people that are no longer with us. We have about 3 or 4 people that have sold their homes. And I found past paperwork where this was submitted to Meduvi, and I just got the most recent updated list. I think they gave it to me a few weeks ago, like March 17th or something. And what happens is that dilutes our voting. When they say we have to have over 50%, and those people are still counted as our members according to Meduvi, but they don't live here, or they don't live on the planet, then it's an issue. So I have to get those people cleared off that list, so we get the real people that are paying owners and that have the ability to vote. So again, right now, it's really technically only 9 people that control the whole hacienda, according to Meduvi and the bank account and all that. So, I think non-payers, somebody said to me yesterday, well, the non-payers are just sitting back and watching, and they're really controlling what's going on. I'm like, well, they're not. All they're doing is taking away from maybe the employees receiving a paycheck at some point. Forget about me, but Nelson and Fernando and all them, if we get to a certain point we can't pay them, that's an
and it
issue.
will get to that point.
Yeah.
Because we have to, the biggest thing is our liabilities, and we have to make sure that our liabilities are covered. So we are going to get to a point, if people don't continue to pay or don't start paying, that we will have to lay people off, and then our liabilities increase and increase. It's a double-edged sword. Sorry, I interrupted.
And I have to wait until after the coronavirus, obviously, to be able to submit this paperwork. So what my goal is, what I'm hoping to do, is like I said, I have the package all prepared for the acceptance of the resignation. If you guys can nominate the treasurer and we can put that vote forward, I can get all that paperwork together and packaged, and I can hand it to them both at the same time. And it will just save a lot of time. And then I'll get with Christina about trying to speed up some of these processes. Susan's not even on the list as a member, and she's already been and gone as a treasurer.
Exactly.
That's how slow it is and crazy.
There is
Red tape.
And there is so much of it, and there is so much stuff that just T wasn't crossed, the I wasn't dotted, which leaves us wide open again. And our job has been to go back retroactively and cross these T's and dot these I's and bring you something concrete which protects us all, because we are absolutely wide open at this point.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question. Elena, all this about Meduvi, you've been very involved with it in the past. Do you concur with, or what is your take on everything you're hearing? I'm just curious.
Well, it seems that when we were involved, Meduvi was not happy with Hacienda San Joaquin, period.
Right.
And when when we were forced out of office, what I have to say is they were fantastic. They were fantastic with us. They worked with us. They told us what we needed to be able to do. And they took care of the situation for us. I mean, it was difficult. We spent 2 weeks with a worker, hiring somebody. We had to translate everything. But they walked, the Dr. Duque brought us to his home and listened to us. It was just fabulous. So I think what has happened since then is, because they don't like us, is what I'm kind of thinking, is that they are just making it more difficult.
Well, they've been nice to us. Like whenever I go there, they're absolutely respectful. They're nice. They tell us what we need to do. They do tell us the processes. My point is the processes themselves are very cumbersome. And if we need them to do their part and update our list correctly, right? And if we give them a letter officialized by the hacienda that says, look, you need to remove these people, they're dead or they don't live here anymore. Just take honor that from an official letter from our board.
It's actually because we're working so tightly with them now. It's the reason why we're discovering It's not our end that's letting us down. It's their end. They haven't been. It's not because they don't like us. Listen, we've been out there. We've entertained them.
They're nice.
Shown the new face of the hacienda. We've taken them out for dinner. They are working with us. They respond to us. We go in there smiling, cheering. Not cheering. I mean, they cheer when we leave, but certainly they're happy. So the relationship is not about. It's not about the relationship. It's about now we are digging down and doing our due diligence. We are discovering that Meduvi haven't been holding up their end of the bargain. They've got paperwork everywhere. So that's the process that we're in right now, to clear the decks again so we have more clarity, and we will streamline the system. We'll petition them to streamline the system so we can get members in quicker. We can get boards elected quickly. We can get dissemination of bylaws out much quicker. That's what we're trying to do now. And it's an uphill battle, but it's a battle that we're going to win.
Yeah. Because by the time we get the paperwork, for example, to do the banking, the president's already been there 4, 5, 6 months, and then they're getting ready for another election in a few more months. And so.
Yeah, so what happened, I can give you one little piece of advice, whether it'll work or not, I don't know. But when we took office, I think it was like February or something, we could not get certified. And so the lawyers were telling us we couldn't do anything because we weren't certified as officers. So we were kind of just making plans and doing what we could for like 3 months. And in the meantime, we hired Marlene, and Uber wasn't there anymore. So, and we had been to 3 lawyers to try to help us get through that process, and they weren't any help at all. Marlene went up there one day and she said, I am not leaving here until I get this paperwork done today. And she sat there and sat there and sat there, and they did it.
And she did. I can see in the files, she got some of this paperwork done and submitted for these people that shouldn't be on the list anymore. But Meduvi has not, for one reason or another, recognized it. And again, it dilutes our voting process. When you have to have 50%, just over 50%, to make it valid, and you've got 6 people on there that don't count.
It sounds like you have to follow up once you submit something.
Right. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to work on, is go and say, hey, here's what she did. Why wasn't this recognized in our official list right now? Because it's hurting our voting process.
Right. And the guy downstairs likes American cigarettes.
Yeah. Good to know. American cigarettes. Okay.
That's what we're doing, right? That's what we're doing. We're now doing their due diligence, right? We're doing due diligence for them and making sure that they're
bribes. We need you to pay your fees so we can do the correct bribes. In jest, for the record. Okay.
Yeah, in jest.
So, any more questions on Meduvi before we move on? Any questions? No? Okay, cool. Right, so I think we've pretty much gone through the main topics that we needed to get through. Now, water maintenance. There's been a lot of questions. A lot of people are ringing up saying, what's happening with the water? It's not being maintained. Well, that's the first I know about it, because one thing we made sure when this crisis hit was that we had someone coming in to maintain the water system. The water system is being maintained as it has always been forever, right at this moment in time. Nelson is here every day. He goes there first thing in the morning, checks all the water systems. In the afternoon, he comes back, he checks all the systems again, checks ozone levels, checks the pressure, checks the depth of the tanks, he checks the continuity of the tubing, and he checks the levels of ozone. This is happening every single day. Nothing has changed. And we also made sure, as soon as we heard about it, I went to the guys at the gate, and we organized a system in place where we knew that we were going to be we would have full coverage of security. Nothing's changed. Despite what's going on, despite what you may be thinking, it's all running.
Good. I had a question too. Stan and Elena might know more, but the bylaws that are on the Hacienda website, are those the Meduvi bylaws? Are those the official initial bylaws that everybody agreed upon, and that's what everybody is working under? They seem to make sense. They don't seem to be too crazy or anything from what I can see.
They don't seem to be crazy, but it's my understanding it was the bylaws that were last voted on by the entire community and approved, certified by Meduvi.
Okay, so that's what we go by. That's what I need to focus on and make sure we're doing things according to. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah, just about the water thing, I just want to mention, we wrote the other day because we heard water running in the canyon house.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that was fixed immediately. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And send
again,
it to me. Send it to me. He may know about it already, but I'll reiterate it to him. So not a problem.
So,
Well,
but also,
yeah,
I'm sorry, but also understand. Sorry, Eleanor, go on.
well, it
Eleanor.
was the other day. It was the one that I sent you the other day.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently Nelson came out and did whatever had to be done. I was just commending him and you
Oh, yeah.
because it got done.
Yeah. There was another report today from somebody. So we're making sure that he attends to that. He is working.
And that's what's important. Okay, we're all responsible for the maintenance and the continuity of the services here. Don't think that I'm out there every day holding Nelson's hand, walking around with him and checking everything. Neither is Christina. Neither is Lisa. You know, we're reliant on people to, and like I said, the next system of work that's going to come in is there'll be a requisition.
Yeah.
So as, for example, Fanella, they see this thing, they send a requisition. We turn that into a work order. Nelson then continues his work. That's the only way we're going to get Nelson to be out all the time doing what he's supposed to do, because we simply have not got the time to go out. We're asking the community, if you see something, report it, and then we can get something done about it. Don't sit there and think, oh, well, that's not going to get done, and look, isn't this board bad? We are run ragged right now trying to get everything in a row. So we're asking for your help to report stuff. And right in this moment in time, it's only emergency stuff. You know, I've noticed, for example, some of the trees now and some of the branches are leaning over into the road.
Mhm.
Not an emergency. Okay, we'll deal with that. But right about now, things that need to run, things that need to be repaired to ensure the continuity of services and the continuity of the hacienda itself need to be reported. So please be on our side. Don't look and think, oh, well, we can throw that back at them at a later date. It's only hurting yourselves. It's only hurting all of us if we don't report it.
You can call me too. Sometimes, you know, with emails, like I have to send emails out and they might seem a little, you know, sometimes my delivery it's just very direct. And if you need to call me and talk about something, or, hey, why is this way or whatever, just call me. I'm always here. I've got the Skype, I've got the WhatsApp, I've got Zoom, I got everything. So I'm really open. And if it's a better way that you have to present to me, that's great, you know? So.
But again, our messages today, you know, we want you to look at where we all are right now, because we're all in this together, and say, okay, right, forget what I owe. Let's do the right thing now and start supporting the community. Let's start supporting ourselves, each other, by paying our fees or paying what we can pay. The rest of the stuff in the past, we'll come and talk to you directly to that. And as far as the road stuff is concerned, which I know is a massive point of contention, it was for me, but I had no choice and I paid it because I wanted to serve the community. We need to go back and revisit that and talk to the people that have paid, the people that haven't paid, and find a creative solution that will suit everyone, so we can all get back on the same page. Because I know you all do. Nobody wants to sit there and think, well, I'm not paying and I don't give a shit, because that's not true. Everyone does care about where they are and what they're doing.
The world's changing. The world's changing, and we have to like let go of some shit, because it's getting serious in some of these changes, and we're gonna have to forgive some of this stuff and unite.
Can I ask another question? We received an email today from a friend in town, and apparently there's a rumor in town, and she wanted to know the facts, what was true. She said the rumor is that there was an older woman that came into Hacienda San Joaquin with the virus, and that she is now quarantined.
It's absolute nonsense. Let me just shut it all down right now, right? Because I've heard exactly the same thing. We've got people. So what happened was this. Janusz came back from Canada. Janusz was told to, and I'm sorry to put Janusz in the limelight, but I'm just going to say, talking about being responsible. He was told that he had to go and be quarantined for 15 days, which he did. What he didn't do was tell us, okay? So we had no idea about what was going on, although they quarantined themselves. Another family came back from the coast, and from where they came back from, there had been instances, there had been some reports, some symptoms. So the health authorities were called by somebody here in the hacienda. They came out. So then we had to discover who had actually been here and from when. So we discovered that these certain families and these certain groups.
I don't think they had symptoms. It was because they came through.
No,
right.
No one has symptoms.
Nobody has symptoms.
No one has symptoms.
No one's had symptoms.
It was a mandatory. It was what they call in what was
isolation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I wanna bring something up
Health
to
check.
it was a
along the
precautionary.
lines
Listen,
that's done.
this is all precautionary. It's how it saves us. It protects us. It protects the hacienda. Okay, so all of them are happy. The doctors went there. I speak to the doctors every single day. I speak to the president of San Pedro every single day. The doctors call these people every single day. If there's a change, then we'll let you know. But everybody is healthy here. But they're in self-quarantine for precautionary measures only. No one has any symptoms here whatsoever. And the day that somebody does, I will report it. And you'll all know about it, and because we'll all be in quarantine. So that's why we have to minimize our contact with the workers. Make sure if dustbin man comes up, for example, the trash guy comes up, that you go out to pay him, make sure you got some gloves on and stuff. Minimize the risk to yourself, because you minimize the risk to yourself, minimizes the risk to all of us, because otherwise our liberties will be gone. But there is no one, I repeat, no one in this hacienda with any symptoms at all of CV-19.
Right.
Correct. It's an airborne virus, right? So
like to
It's
say-
a surface. I think it's more surface, but I'm not sure.
Well, listen. Before you speculate on what it is, watch the documentary, 10-minute document presentation, and then make up your own mind. But right about now, we're all speculating.
I want to talk real quick because we're on this topic. So about people coming in that aren't part of the community. We do have a tenant that was planning on moving in April 1st. She's on the coast right now with the dog. She's a widower. I mean, we've been vetting people for years. We finally found the right person that we can share the property with. She's on the coast. She's been there the whole time. I don't know how quarantined she has been, but I know she hasn't been mingling with any people, but I think she takes her dog, outside for a walk to shit and piss and whatever. And I know there was a thing with the vet. But with everything going on, I think we as a community need to get on the same page and be comfortable with, with this process of having somebody move in. There's going to be a driver. There's going to be somebody that's assisting moving her with her stuff. How do we want to handle it? What's in the best interest of the community, us, and everybody? And that's it. I want to throw it out there. Andy and I have talked about it a little bit. So I think, we just need to, everybody's got to be comfortable with the solution. That's it.
So I tell you what I know. And I tell you what I've been told. Categorically, no extranjeros, no one from outside the province can come into the hacienda to stay here unless they've had a mandatory 15-day quarantine.
They go through Guayaquil. Anybody.
Anybody from outside the Loja province.
Okay,
right?
so let's talk about that. Let's just real quick, okay, question and answer. 15-day quarantine. What does that mean? Quarantined in Guayaquil or quarantined once she arrives into this province somewhere?
correct.
And is there a monitoring program or?
Yes. So there is a monitoring program. What we'll have to do, because I want to help you on this, and I want to help her on this because I know that she wants to live here. You want to be here. It's a win-win.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll speak to the doctors and ask them, say, look, we've got someone coming from the coast. They've got a contract here. We know that they have to have a 15-day quarantine period. What do you advise us to do? How can you help us to ensure that this person goes through the correct procedures, is monitored, and they do. The doctors are there every day, every 3 days they turn up, and they call every single day to monitor their symptoms. So she'll have a checkup before she comes, when she arrives here, and she'll have a checkup before she comes in. Where she's going to stay for those 15 days, I don't know. So we need to find a solution for that. Maybe Madrid Sierra, some place that will have her.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
because
And,
how far from Roland and Kiami does she have to be so that they don't also have to be in quarantine?
Exactly. That was my next point, is that, we've been in quarantine. We've been here the whole time. We haven't left. We don't want to we don't want to deal with this bureaucratic nonsense, but we do want everybody here to be safe, the entire community, the workers, and, as well as us. So I think questions need to be asked. We need to listen. We need to discuss, and then we need to figure it out. But yeah, I told her, because she's getting anxious and she's an elderly lady, 70 years old and whatnot. And, obviously there comes other, considerations with the age and traveling and whatnot. But I told her to gather as much information as she could with what she knows, give it to me. Let's do the same thing. And then, we can, lock it up.
But one thing I can tell you categorically now, she will have to do a 15-day quarantine before she comes here.
Right.
They're not.
Yeah,
we are under strict instructions.
I understand that.
So let me
15-day
not us.
quarantine.
let me talk to the doctors.
Yeah. It's not us.
Yeah.
And
Let me
it's not
talk.
us
Let me talk.
mandating that.
Let me talk to the health authority, and let's because this has to happen. We have to help her, right? She's going to be homeless. So I will speak to them later today, and we'll find out what is the best way forward, and I'll let you know. But one thing we're not prepared to do is put the hacienda at risk. People, if they're coming from
Never, and that's not my intention. That's why
I know
like,
that.
Not just,
But
I'd like to get more granular on this. 15-day quarantine really doesn't mean shit to me. It means, okay, 15-day quarantine. Where? Who's going to monitor it? Who's going to sign off on it? So we're all comfortable with.
Just be like Janusz.
And how far can you be around somebody before then they tell you have to be in quarantine because you were around them, right? So.
Well, yeah, it's another granular details because that's
Yeah.
all we can. There's the country is all about hypotheticals and things change every 2 hours and whatnot. But this is a delicate situation. I'd like to, I'd like everybody here to be safe. I want to make her feel safe. I want to do, everything the right way. And we're in the 11th hour. I don't have my feeling is it's not going to happen anytime fast, but I think we need to be prepared for it. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do what we can to find that information for you. So when she gets here, the worst case scenario, she'll be delayed 15 days getting in here. That's all.
She's willing to do it.
Make sure we don't get the whole hacienda on quarantine. But I understand your question, Roman.
Yeah. Listen,
Let's make sure it doesn't mean because we're right next door that now me and Anasha are quarantined.
So I'm trying to find out the distance thing, like when someone's in quarantine.
It's really vague, all these laws or rules.
Well, wait a second. Let's
just
think about this logically. Logically, if she's in quarantine and that's the way to do it, well, when she comes into the hacienda, she could communicate just like everybody else, right? I mean, that's the way I look at it. So if we do it the right way, then it's not a problem. And
Exactly.
Well, good.
That's
We'll be proactive about it, and this will be a good experience for us to figure out.
Totally.
If it shows
here's
up.
the litmus test. Now, how are you going to do it?
It's just like Susan. It's just like Susan and Janusz. What I do believe and what I've read is they'll come in, they'll do initial test on whoever it is, and quarantine that person. Janusz came from Guayaquil and was actually in contact with people from Guayaquil on monitoring his health. The one that's Susan, I'm unsure who she's contacted with, but I'm sure she's in contact with someone.
Every
right?
day.
So,
that's different,
right.
Bruce.
So
That's different, Bruce, because they were quarantined here. We want her to be quarantined before she gets here. Is what
Correct.
I'm. Okay, so it's.
Well, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example how it is, right? So my sister, she cut a long story short. She had a guy come from Guayaquil to pick her up. That cab couldn't get past Malacatas. With all the information that this guy had, he couldn't get past Malacatas. Now, this guy wasn't in quarantine, he had gloves on, he was on the official embassy paperwork, his schedule number, everything was on there. Couldn't get past Malacatas. So she's not going to, if this guy can't get past here with correct paperwork, she's not going to get past Malacatas either. So that's where she's probably going to have to stay. But again, I will find out.
Right. Yeah.
Where she gets stopped is where she'll have to stay.
Yeah.
You're living in an area where there's a lot of older people, right? So they're protecting this area much more than they are in different areas.
Correct.
Good.
And of course, there isn't a single symptom, there isn't a single case, symptom, or anything right now in this whole area. Malacatas, Vilcabamba, Hacienda, all of these surrounding areas, Maripamba, there is no cases, no symptoms. There have been here some precautionary isolation.
Let's keep it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, however insane it sounds and time consuming and whatever it is, let's make sure we do it right. Create a roadmap for whatever future things happen.
So what I want to do now is just kind of open it up to, is there anything else you need to say, Lisa, Christina?
I don't think so.
Just
Was
that
there
they, do wear your mask because they are spraying, and I do have a little bit of reaction to the spray. So if anything, wear your masks and gloves for that.
it's happening all over. I can smell it.
Oh,
Yeah.
my eyes and yeah.
I'm
Poor
waiting, you
little
know,
Mila has rashes all over her face and neck.
No
I
wonder.
know.
I've heard different things of what they're spraying, but it's an irritant for sure.
We
Well-
haven't even left. We have not left the community for 2 weeks or whatever. We can smell it. You
Yeah.
can smell it across the
And the
river.
haze. You can see the haze for the past 3 or 4 days. I've seen the haze.
I was smelling it on our drive, down,
Yeah.
walking down our driveway. So I don't know, what.
chemtrails. That's what they're spraying.
I don't know. They're not spraying anything here. So
Yeah, I'm
I
lucky.
don't know. Yeah.
How are they spraying? With a truck that's got
Yeah.
some kind of a big
They'll spray your car.
Auger.
So they let me go through the other day. They told me I had to roll my windows up, and then they blasted my car with something. And even though I was all sealed in, I was about gagging. And then yesterday I went, because I had an even plate, I went to Malacatos to get some gas and do some stuff. And they were just going down the street in a truck with blasting. And people are walking on the sidewalks and they're just blasting this shit. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
And I feel my
they're
eyes are
also-
watering. I've had the symptoms, but they're from the spray.
yeah.
Exactly. And they're also spraying. They're also spraying.
Strike that from the record. I have
aircraft.
symptoms from the spray. Let me be clear. Okay.
Yeah.
Aircraft. They're spraying aircraft, airborne stuff. That's what they're doing.
Wow.
Well, on the site, there's an official COVID-19.gov EC site, and they have a circle with a plane and a strike through it that they're not allowed to fumigate via airplane. So that can be reported.
Good.
That's what they're doing. They're not allowed to spy on us, but they do. They're not allowed to do all these things. And those planes will be pilotless planes.
And the curfew is from 2 p.m. to 5 a.m. I think I said something about 6 a.m. the other day. So I just wanted to clarify that. 2 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Okay, so
When in God's name is this going to be over? Do
I
you
know.
have any idea at all?
I'm
Sorry?
hearing anything to mid-April, and then you see things that say this could take 18 months, and then I heard this was only 2 weeks for us, and then I hear mid-April. I don't know. And then you're
Wow.
gonna have to, another meeting, we'll probably have to talk about security precautions, because if people get hungry and whatever, we don't know. I'm gonna try
And
to
no
start a
toilet paper.
barter- Yeah, toilet paper, a barter club, when our mandarins come out. So
And here's another thing as well. People, if it does go on for a significant amount of time, then we're going to start running into issues regarding repairs, maintenance, that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
But I guarantee
Doors
you, on
being
every
closed.
pop, if we pull all our resources here at the Hacienda, all of the T's and the T joints and the L joints and bits of tubing and some sticky plaster and whatever, I think all of us have got everything between all of us have got enough to repair anything that breaks down in the Hacienda. So again, that's something that we need to be.
Yeah. The
you know,
hardware
aware of.
stores are closed. I can't send. We don't have any cash. You can only take out a certain amount of cash from the bank, first of all. Second of all, Nelson can't get to the hardware stores. He either can't get there, or when he does, they're not even open for business. And so this is causing a little bit of it. We may have to jump in and join in and try to help if there's some maintenance repairs and we need some parts.
Hey, Marcia.
Hi, Marcia.
Hey, Marcia. Hi.
Hey,
Marcia.
Hey, lovely.
Oh, it's good. Having a
Hey,
good day today. Have a good day tomorrow.
Christina, there's a way when you're the host, when somebody's talking, they come onto the center screen so we can
know.
see them big.
I gotta play with this.
But you're always on the center. But
We
there
just-
is a way, like if Marcia talks, we
Yeah.
could all see her big.
Let me see.
Yeah, there's an icon for the leader that you can do that somewhere.
I've got to find that. I know you sent me a thing, and I do have to start investigating it. I haven't had the time to do
We'll
a
have
lot
to
of
play
it.
with it
But anyway,
on one
I
of our
didn't wanna
smaller meetings.
Retract
Yeah.
from Marcia. Hi, Marcia.
Hi, Marcia. I wonder if I can just click on them. No.
We're all glad to see you.
Let's see.
Yes,
Pin.
we're all glad to see you.
Oh, spotlight video.
Yeah, there you got it. You got it.
Hey. Hi. Ta-da.
Bless your heart.
Wow, rocking it.
Will you read an email if I send you an email?
But just be mindful that sometimes she's trying to conserve energy right now. So we're eating well, mineralizing, getting all the right foods, but she needs to sleep now in order to her body to absorb all those new nutrients
Yeah.
and energy. But we're
Your
getting
your
there.
aura is good.
Mhm.
Andy treatment and Dr. Amy's treatment. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Lots
Good.
of love.
Everybody's
Yes.
wonderful.
Virtual love.
Miss you.
Okay, go lay down.
Good
Bye.
to see you. Is it back to
Okay.
gallery?
Good to see you.
Yeah, if you want to do that. So I think we've kind of covered everything that we can cover. Like I say, we don't want to speculate. We want to be 100% clear about what we know, that we can talk about and we can share with you. But right about now, again, like I say, it's interesting times. We're discovering a hell of a lot of stuff. We're reworking the old ways of doing things so that they're streamlined, they're transparent, they're easy to do, and that we all have access. But again, you know, what we're asking you again is to start looking at actually what's going on there. Maybe it's just the way to think. Sorry, I've got man boobs. No, sorry about that.
Stop it.
But we can't do without your buying. We can't do, you know. So don't think it doesn't you know, it doesn't mean. That's what I'm looking for. We're all involved. We all have a responsibility. So it's not just mine. It's not Christina's or Sue's or Lisa's. It's all our responsibility. But most importantly, it's about getting value for money. And getting value for money. If you see something wrong, report it. We can get the guys on it, and we can keep them working. Otherwise, they won't work. They'll just sit back and think, "Oh, it's another easy day in paradise." Yeah.
Yeah.
And 80% of our funds that come in go to workers' pay. 80%. If we're not getting value for money, then what the hell are we paying them?
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
Okay, so I got an idea regarding your problem, the people not paying for the road. Okay, so my idea is to come up with 3 different solutions, as in, let's say, to improve our water quality or to improve the security. So instead of them paying $1,200 towards a road that they don't believe in, give them an opportunity to pay towards something that they do. Right? So improving, say, the filtration systems, or improving security when it comes to the hacienda. At least this way that you don't have to say to people, you know, I know it might have been illegal at the time and I need to make this right. It's going to be harder for you to go backwards than it is to go forwards. Right? So it's an ability. Yeah, I think you only have like 19 people that didn't pay for the road. It's easier for you to come up with ways of having them contribute to something that they believe in. You know, and that way everybody comes clean.
Don't you think, Bruce, they would want everybody to make that contribution, though? If it was toward water, wouldn't they also contribute?
This is the way of saying, okay, we understand that you 19 people didn't believe in the road and you didn't want to pay towards the road, but here are solutions to bring you up to speed with everyone else. You know, here we're saying, okay, you know, instead of putting your $1,200 towards this, put it towards that. You know,
Your
at least
canal fee, or your
canal, or whatever it is, at least give them options. Okay, so give them 4 options and say, listen, you put $300 towards each option, and we'll improve this with your money.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a thought. That's a good thought.
Let's put together a bunch of solutions and offer it, and see what sticks.
Because we, you know, at the end of the day, the road had to be done, right? We're not.
Correct.
Whatever the cost was the cost. We unfortunately we let it run, and we found ourselves bound by it. So
Correct.
It has been paid for. People are already paid for it. So the ones that didn't, and I agree why you didn't, I absolutely do, because I was in that boat too. But ultimately now we've paid for the road. Let's dig deep and let's pay for something else, so that we're all on the same, we're all or at least on the same financial debt page, rather than
on the same level. Correct.
The admin office.
Right. It could, that could be one, right? You know, like I said to you, you could split it up into 4 pieces. So people could say, okay, take my $1,200 and put $300 towards those 4 pieces. Or they could say, put $1,200 towards one.
Move the gate. Move the
you
gate.
know, this way, everybody's not looking at each other. Well, I paid for the road and you didn't, and you're $1,200 behind. And the people will say to themselves, well, at least I'm giving something back to the community and improving maybe a water filtration system, a better water filtration system, or
There
something.
you go.
And if you can't afford it, if you have reasons why you can't afford it, then talk to us. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But don't just
Correct.
ignore us because you know, upset about the road. I was upset about the road. I was one of the biggest voices in that, but I was outvoted because the 12 people that voted for everybody, because nobody was in the house, because very few people were in Meduvi anyway, made that decision for all of us.
Correct.
Being a Meduvi member helps to make decisions for the whole community.
Correct. It's better to invoke people to try to improve the community than to give money back, because there's no satisfaction in it.
No, there
All
isn't.
right, we'll have to think about that. We'll have to make, look into different things that can be done for that. Get back.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Anything else? Are we done?
Yeah,
We're done.
I would like to again ask about, this was new to me that we have hacking situation. Has this ever happened before to anybody?
It happens
Or
all the time.
I find that a little bit strange. Or
Somebody else in the community said Yvonne sent out something at one point and said that he had been hacked.
You have to understand there's a lot of people at home right now, and a lot of smart people at home that are forced to stay at home. And these are the things that they like to do, is just to fool around to find out, see if they can actually hack into something.
Yeah.
This is normal. It's if you actually put a hacking system on a computer, you'd be surprised at how many pings you get per day to try to get into your computer, right? Yeah. So it's just getting the proper software to protect that.
Right.
But this was a deliberate, because the emails that were sent on behalf of the hacienda were written by English speaking people, I should say, and it was a malicious dedicated hack to our system to either get into Christina's computer to find out information or just to disrupt things. I've had my line disrupted now 3 times all day long. Couldn't get my line back up. Now I've got 1 call coming into my property and 3 splits for my renters, myself and my renters. Mine is the only line that's getting attacked, and it takes all day for me to get my line back. Now I've asked Ivan, and he just says, I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is. We spend all day, and eventually we find a breakthrough, and it returns my service. But
yeah, it happens.
I've got another service though.
Sure.
But if you see an email,
what did you do to fix that?
I asked Ivan about it, and he wouldn't tell me what was going on. He just said, I can't really say.
Did you buy software?
He said there was a hack in that email he put out on Facebook.
I've got a Mac, and I've got real-time. I've got MacKeeper and real-time protection now. And I've got a VPN, which I use all the time.
well, and the point there is, if an email comes out that doesn't sound right, call Christina and ask. Don't just say, oh my gosh, what are they doing now? Because it may not have come from her.
Yeah.
Which those others didn't.
And they are going to be reduced. Like I said, if there's something you want the whole community to know, just go to the web page. I updated the member contact list, and then we'll just send out things that are from the board and extreme emergencies.
so Lisa and Christina, and Andy, do we know which emails were put up by a hacker? I would like to know which emails those were personally.
It came back to my
I would like
inbox,
to
so I
read them
didn't.
myself.
I don't know if anything went out to the community, but it can't. I had 2 that showed up in my inbox as something I
Okay.
sent, and I never sent them. So, yeah, but it's fixed now, and I have a double verification system. I made sure that the passwords for the bank aren't on the computer. I have them in a separate section in the safe. So,
Okay.
and there's a double verification system for all the banking as well. So I think it's okay.
But it's come from this server. It's come from our server. Well, it's come from Vilcanet's server. That's what we do.
Yeah, CNT, but that's who Vilcanet uses ultimately. And then there's a latitude and longitude it goes down to. Yeah.
We've traced it back to the servers at Vilcanet. That's as far as we can get. We've got someone working on it who's very, very good, but I think the person who did this is also very, very good, and that's what we've been told. So we'll see.
That's the problem Vilcanet had a while ago, is that somebody breached their computers, right? Which means that they breached everybody's information.
Correct.
So it's just following down the line now. right?
Yeah.
So just protect your computer. That's all.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do now. You know, we're just going to protect it and, you know, do as many verifications as I can. So, it should be good.
It's been uphill, it's constantly uphill what we're trying to do. And, you know, it's been a real challenge to get to the bottom of anything. But the bottom of everything we will get to.
But we're having some breakthroughs too. We're having some successes. Even these meetings, I have to say, I'm really happy about our meetings.
Yeah, it seems we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Good.
Have you guys touched base with the accounting system at all?
Venora sent me the accounting system name and the password, but I haven't even been able to look at it yet.
That's good. That's
you know,
good.
and Venora, I've got to sit down and have some, you know, we have to have some conversations just about clearing up some things and seeing how some things work and how much time needs to be allotted to things. So
yeah.
But I would say, you know, it's challenging times. You know, people don't like change.
Sorry, to Bruce's point, Bruce, are you referring to what Venora sent me? I think was what she has to use for the new invoices required by SRI, but there's another accounting system, because that did come up yesterday in a thought process I had, that I heard there was an accounting, you mean a new accounting system to move off Jim's old accounting system? Is that what you're talking about? Oh,
Correct.
I don't even have any information about that at all.
Okay, I would get on to Venora about that, because that system's been used for more than, I'd say, 9 months. So just I also, I think I gave, I don't know, you may have a file in there. There's a contact name that the guy's willing to come down here whenever this coronavirus is done and do some training. That,
yeah.
That accounting software is completely you can change it to adapt it to any sort of thing that we need. And it's completely SRI driven. Right, so there's no compliance when it comes to SRI. There's nothing. Everything's done as of when you do it on the computer.
Oh, very good. Let me look at what she sent me and put the password in and see if that's what that is.
That's a very cool system.
For Facturas. Okay, great. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no problem.
Anybody else? Judy, any questions?
No, I'd just like to know when we're going to get out of this quarantine crap, but. You know, or not quarantine,
let me tell you what I know, right? So I know that China now is out of their quarantine, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been 4 weeks, but interestingly, like the Chinese stock market didn't crash. Neither did Singapore's stock market. Hong Kong, they're all back to running business as normal. So they've been 4 weeks into it. So
they're used to this.
I would say it's typically 4 weeks, unless of course people allow it to continue longer. You know, it's really down to us at the end of the day. You know, once we recognize in 4 weeks' time, if there's no more risk, what the hell are these governments doing to us?
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm calling it flattening the curve, right? But by having the quarantine or something.
Yeah.
There is no curve.
You know how it is here. The incompetence and the inconsistency is.
Yep. It's frustrating. Nobody's ever experienced anything like this. It's all new to all of us. This is unusual, and I don't think we'll go back to the way that we were. However, we're all frustrated, all of us, and it causes great stress. I saw the shift last Saturday. I watched the Facebook energy and how people are starting to get into each other. And people, you know, at first I tell everybody it's kind of fun. It's like a snow day or whatever. And then it's like, whoa, you know, it starts to really eat at some people that they have to be in the home all the time and they can't roam freely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's just psychologically very damaging to people. We're probably going to see an increase in domestic violence. And
they already are. Well, at my house, that's about to happen, but I don't know.
Yeah. We yell at each other, joking. Oh, violencia domestica. You know, we yell at each other. But no,
and people are withdrawing. You know, we're having withdrawal issues, medication issues for people. There's a lot of different things that this is flowing into that people don't realize. So.
I just, for me, I don't really care about much else, but I would like to see my friends before they leave here at some point, because I may never see them again when they go back to the States. I don't know. That's what really frustrates me.
I mean, Judy, you can leave here on the days that you're with your vehicle, on the days of an odd or an even number. You can leave here and you can.
Well,
we're not. But we're not encouraging people to come here.
Well, okay, so I drive my car into town and I pull up in front of the building they live in. What do? Look around and see if anyone's watching and slink in the door.
You mean no, put your mask on.
Mask, the mask
Put
and the
your mask-
gloves, and then just go knock on their door or whatever. Yeah, they don't let you, they don't really, I think it's more, their big thing was about extern hair, nose and all that. They kept focusing on
Right.
just having the mask and gloves. They just want to see
Correct.
that. People are happy to see that. That's not even really mandatory from what I'm seeing, because lots of people are running around without them. Other
Oh,
people are
yeah.
doing the shame.
That's what my friends tell me. They do go out and do a little shopping. And I wasn't sure, though, if I could go visit them. I'm glad to know
Yeah.
that.
You can
Yeah,
visit them. You just
can-
have to be home by 2.
Judy, just put your gloves on when you're in town and a nice mask.
Yeah, or a bandana.
Don't be,
Because
just
again-
be within the curfew time.
Yeah.
Again, because if there is a risk and you've been in town, right, and as soon as they say, oh, we've got a who's been into town, then whoever's been into town from here will be in quarantine. So you just need to just make sure that you follow the measures that are in place, and that way then we're protecting everybody. We're protecting yourself and you're protecting everybody here.
Right.
Well, actually, my friend is a registered nurse from Pennsylvania. And, you know, and then I've been with them so much, it's a little late to think that, you know what I'm saying? The horse is already out of the barn if there's
Right.
anything going on, but they're fine. They feel great.
You should
see
see
'em.
them. It's just let 5 people or 10 people, no more, that they had that thing, no
Right.
gathering more than 5 or 10 people. It's 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just want to visit them because they're like family to me. So I'm glad to know that no one's going to hassle me.
Yeah, little things, Judy, you can do. And I have a recommendation me and Anasha do. When you do go through the checkpoints and they say, where are you coming from? Just say Chowpy. No need to say Hacienda.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
that's fine.
where are you going when you're going back the other way?
Okay.
I live in Chowpy.
Or to get gas in Malacatos, they seem to not have a problem. And also I noticed you
Yeah.
can have many people had 2 or 3 people in their car. So if Stan and Elena and you went to visit them, I bet it would be fine.
You think?
Oh, listen.
Wow. Yeah,
Here's
because,
the-
you know, I would like, it's, this taxi thing, forget it. I figure the taxis are dirty anyway. Come on,
Right.
let's
Right.
be
They're
honest.
letting people go in and out of them, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then for me right now, I had a procedure on my knee just before we got shut down. So I still have a swollen knee, and climbing in and out of a taxi is not the greatest thing in the world. And Chris's car is very low to the ground, and that's not good either. But my car is just right. The height. So I
Go
can get it. My car is clean. The public has not been in it. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Very
the
good.
best way for me, I think.
Yeah.
But you are at liberty to go out and get your medications. You are at liberty to go out and have your checkups, or the doctors can come here. But again, the protocols haven't changed on the gate. You know, if somebody's coming, you need to let the gate know. You need to but we're not just inviting people to come on friendly visits and, you know, chew the fat and that sort of stuff. We need to keep ourselves safe here.
Right.
We need to keep ourselves precautionary, you know, in quarantine.
Yeah.
And so whatever you do out there, make sure you mitigate the risks at all time. That's all.
Yeah. And the gate now has Skype on their phones. They have WhatsApp, so you can get them
Okay.
if you don't have a signal, okay?
That's good. Okay, so like on Monday, could I go to the chiropractor? I don't know if he'll see me, but someone
Yeah.
needs to check my knee. I wasn't able to go
Yeah,
to Lockhart.
doctors can see you, Judy. You can go to see, you can go for appointments like that. But of course, you have to arrange with the person. But yeah, as far as I know,
It has to be your tag.
you
Well,
can find people
I
like-
can tell you right now that Chris went to get groceries the other day at Super Maxi, and he was stopped at the checkpoint by a military guy who threatened him with a machete.
Yeah.
And gave
Yeah, we
him a
can't
lot
go
of.
often. You can't go
Yeah, go
past
to
Malacatas.
Supermaxi.
I've
sorry,
seen some
what?
of that.
You can't go to Locha. It's shut
Yeah.
down. You can go as far as Malacatas, and that is it. That's why he had grief. You can't go. Forget Supermaxi. You got to shop
Yeah.
locally.
We can't really
Yeah,
go to
but you know
Loja unless
what?
you have emergency.
Are they keeping up with supplies here locally?
Yeah, so far as I've seen, it's been okay.
not bad.
You can go to Malacato's, because if you tell them you're going to get gas on the day that you can drive. I went to Malacato's yesterday. I found lots of greens and lettuce and vegetables at the market. I found lots of peppers and all kinds of stuff. I got lentils and dry goods that I couldn't find here. So the supplies, I feel like in Vilcabamba are getting low, but I was able to go to Malacato's, and they didn't, when I came back, they were kind of going to start on me, but when I said Malacato's, they said, oh, gas. And I had a gas thing in the back of my car too, and they could see all my produce. So, and there will be some people I'm trying to forward. I have been forwarding emails of people that are willing to make deliveries. Places you can order things, produce and eggs, you know, lettuce and salad fixings, things like that. So I'm trying to forward those.
I've been going out and doing full shops for people that can't get out as well, and organising for deliveries for people that are in quarantine. So, you know, they're being fed, people are getting the medication, doctors, everybody that needs to come in, and everybody that needs stuff doing, if it's happening.
And reach out, Judy, honestly, like if I can help you guys in any way, just reach out, call me. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't, I can't, I'll do it when I can.
Chris will get it handled, but you know what? I think the kind of conversation we've just had over the last few minutes, I think maybe if that were put out to the community, so we have some idea if there's supplies in the stores, or how, like you said, you think that maybe if you had a couple people in the car with you, it would be okay. Going to Malacato's for gasoline, but then you can stop and get other things. I mean, if just sort of like knowing the ropes is important.
The reason we can't do that is because officially, you're supposed to have one person from the family in the car. You're supposed to, so if I put that out in writing, it's not what the official documentation says, but in this small town, they're not adopting, it seems, some of the harsher measures that the bigger cities are.
Okay.
I have to tell you my experience today.
Yeah.
Whatever the experience is, I think it would be nice if people sort of knew, rather than being in a blackout.
We should organize meetings like these. I think these little meetings like this, we can have special topics. This is for the social committee.
Hey,
Yeah.
Buddha had something. Buddha had something.
I just wanted to say I'm going to sign off, but this is in case this is sent out to the people that aren't on this Zoom. I would like to say, I know a lot of you that aren't on the Zoom. I would really love it if you did get involved with all these little things. Over the last couple years, we talked a lot about Council of Owners, and I think we can make that work. Maybe we change the name, but come on, everybody, get involved. Let's pay our dues from, you know, all the time. Let's just start from today, like pretend, you know, before coronavirus, after coronavirus. And so from here on in, let's just really create Hacienda, because if you're quarantined, this is a good place to be quarantined.
Absolutely.
And let's just do the needful. I'm not asking anybody to do more than that. Just reaffirm the pledge you took on when you bought your property here, and pay the dues. And like Bruce and other people are saying, we'll work out the past, or Romeo.
Yeah.
Right.
But let's at least take the present and really create a nice place. And all you people that are snitching on other people, you know, let's drop this kind of petty activity, and let's be really good neighbors. I know that's what me and Roland talked about for 10 years.
Somebody you
here.
may not like, you might need a banana from one day. So we have to practice some forgiveness.
Or toilet paper.
Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, like Andy's saying. And
that's right.
And I think we've got a pretty good place. And let's just come up, and if you can't pay your dues, let Christina know why and when you can. But let's start from April, and that's my little thing.
We're
And
working
all
out
the
the
different
special
people,
issues. Yeah.
Let's agree to disagree on some things, but let's agree that we all live here, and we all, you know, and I'm not asking you to agree with every viewpoint I have, but please, let's just do. All right, that's
good point.
Great. Thanks, Buddha.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm going to sign off, and I like these weekly meetings on Zoom. It's really a piece of cake.
Yeah,
You know,
I think it's important during the quarantine too that people have connection with other people socially.
it is nice, and let's make the hacienda. Let's grease the wheels, and we can flow through this time of crisis.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
everybody. Take
Okay.
care.
All
Bye,
right.
Marcia.
Bye,
Bye.
Boo.
And I'll tell you about what it's like in town. I went
Oh,
into
yeah.
grocery today. Okay. I called a taxi, and he took just me into town at the police roadblock. Apparently, he handled it. I didn't even have to show my cedula. And a military man sprayed all of the cars. He sprayed
Yeah.
our car also. I did not have any reaction to the spray. We rolled up our windows. We went into town. I spent an hour there, and yeah, some of the shelves are showing some wear, but I got most of what I needed.
Yeah.
And then the taxi driver took me home. So
Yeah, I
of
mean,
course, we're both wearing masks, and both actually I had garden gloves because I didn't have any rubber gloves. He went to the pharmacy and got me 2 sets of gloves.
Nice.
So
Nice.
pretty cool
Mhm.
there.
Nice.
and
Yeah.
again, you know, people are looking at us. People look at us at the hacienda and think what was I called the other day? The entitled. You know, we need to be setting an example out there in the community. You know, it doesn't matter what the other gringos are doing or what the Ecuadorians are doing. Let's be the example that we want to see ourselves, and that's it. Let's set it right. But and of course as well, this rumor going around that there's coronavirus here. So let's just do the right thing. Let's be masked up, gloved up, and these are the people who are setting the example in the community. That's what we need to do.
Very grateful that the government has taken charge and that so many of us are following the rules. It makes me feel safer, and
Right.
I'm happy to participate.
And just refer them to the map as well. If we had coronavirus in Vilcabamba, we would show up on the map. And there's not one case showing up for Vilcabamba on the map.
But you know, my experience going to town a couple of days ago, I did a full shop, and I was able to get every single thing on the list, including strawberries,
Nice.
raspberries, including sausages, cheese, bread. Oh, by the way, Madre Tierra is making bread now. They're doing these
Oh, nice.
amazing,
Oh, good
amazing,
job.
heavy, what's that called in English?
Big
Like
loaf.
wholemeal. Wholemeal. It's a round loaf, and they're absolutely delicious. So I ordered 3 for tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Tomorrow. If you want any more, I can give Gail a call, and they're $5 each, but they're worth every penny.
Oh, cool. Good. And the other thing too, like I said, we've been talking about doing a barter thing because there are some people that are going to be short on funds. Our mandarins are going to be in bloom. So if we have a basket of mandarins and somebody has some tomatoes and we can do some sort of an exchange, you know, doing a barter system with some people, and that might help us. Or if some people just don't have anything to trade, they could like work 30 minutes in the garden and then receive a basket of goodies or something, or take stuff home from the garden. So some kind of a barter trade system too, because that might help with some of the crime too, we're hoping. So.
And again, just another thing on the kind of separation and isolation, or whatever you want to call it, or quarantine. You know, when people are on their properties, people do not have to have a mask on. Okay, you can do whatever you want to do on your own property without having to wear a mask. What I would say is, if your property is quite close to other people's properties, then keep your distance if you have a concern. But essentially, people are allowed on their properties because they haven't got symptoms. There are no cases here in the hacienda or on the surrounding areas, that just continue as normal. Try to buy into the fear porn. Watch the little presentation that I put up after this meeting on Facebook, so it gives you a little bit more of an idea of what a virus is, because I think you'll be very, very surprised what you were being told and what the actual truth is of the matter.
Well, if you have 2 properties that are non-contiguous, can you drive back and forth between those 2?
How do you mean?
Do you understand?
All on the hacienda?
Yes, on the hacienda.
You have to do it within the curfew times. You still, I don't think, can be out after the curfew.
Or at your own risk. At your own risk.
Pressure.
Interesting.
I'm not saying to you, the government is mandating that we stay in our homes during the curfew.
Right.
Now, the fact that we don't have any cases here in the hacienda shouldn't really apply to us. However,
no.
What I'm saying to you is this: if you're out and about, you may find yourself somebody calling in who doesn't particularly like you, or whatever, just to create a problem for you. So it's at your risk Your first will be a fine of $100. Your second will be a fine of $400. Your third will be imprisonment.
Well,
100 basic salary and then imprisonment.
yeah.
Wow.
The LOHA number I see today went up to 8 cases in LOHA.
Yeah.
But the first 5, which came some days ago, those people were all over in Guayaquil.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Guayaquil's infested in Guayas. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they check your cedula and it comes up that you live in LOHA, and so they post you as being a person in
Oh.
LOHA when you're not.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
So I
So
don't
they
know.
might still be in Guayaquil and not even be in Loja.
Exactly.
Mm.
So I don't know
Ah.
what the number 8 is about. If they've got 3 cases that are bona fide in Loja, I don't know. I couldn't find any info on that, but
I'll ask Jose Pablo to take a look on one of his sites here.
maybe he'll find something. Yeah, that would be good. That would be
Okay.
really good. Yeah. And anything else? Anything else?
Oh, hold on. I will show you something.
Okay.
Something you prepared earlier.
You have to put yourself back on the, where are you?
She went to
Two
get something.
things. This is the pine turpentine. If you don't
Yeah.
want to take it and you just even put it in your mask or put it around here.
Oh, that.
And the other thing is this stuff is called Cinchona sucrubra. It comes from a tree in Loja and it's an anti-malaria. But Martha gave it to me and Jose poo-pooed me for a couple days and then he realized what it was. Oh, it's called cascarilla. Cascarilla.
Oh, cascarilla?
Yeah.
I know that name somehow.
Yeah, and somehow it's supposed to be a good preventative. So I do a drop every day. Jose does a drop. And when he realized what it was today, after 2 days of me telling him to take it, he's like, oh, this is cascarilla. That's excellent for this. And he's calling all kinds of people and trying to get a hold of it to send it to people in Guayaquil because it's supposed to, I'm going to look up the benefits of it. I don't know much, but when I do, I'll let you know more. Cascarilla. Cascarilla. Cascarilla roja.
Roja. Okay, Roja.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, it's always good.
And the mask, again, there was a video, whatever anybody thinks about it, bioarm, whatever, mutation, whatever, it's there. And they say the biggest thing for transfer, from what I'm hearing anyway, I don't know, is the mask is so you don't continually, if you have sustained contact with somebody that has it, and then you're touching yourself with your hand to your face. The mask is to prevent you from touching yourself. It really only protects you, the gloves and the mask. So it's the touching and then the sustained contact. That's why the distancing works for both people.
They don't do anything
Yeah.
for the actual airborne particles.
I use it, like I said, for whatever they're spraying. So.
I'd like to know what that is. That's what I'd like for Jose Pablo or someone to find out. What spraying?
Facebook has, Mizella put up some stuff. She researched it, and Dave and Meg, they put up what it was too. So I'll try to see if I can find that and send it to you in an email. You're not on Facebook, right?
There's 2 types.
Yeah, not much.
There's a type of chloro acid, and there's also
An iodine, you said, right?
iodine.
Iodine.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Iodine's fine. We don't get enough of that anyway, so I'd keep your windows down.
Yeah.
Truthfully, you don't get
Help
iodine,
my
so-
thyroid.
As the situation unfolds, you will be updated. But again, you'll only be updated by what we're being told. What we
And I'm
know
gonna, yeah, and we'll try to post to the website. I'm going to see if we can have a section that says important news or coronavirus update and just put it on the website, our website, and then
That would be
go
good.
to that. Yeah,
Okay.
instead of flooding people with emails. Okay.
Yeah.
I just got to work on the website because it's a little out of date and there's some upgrades that we need to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So Lisa and Kristen, did you want to stand for a moment? Just a quick
Sure.
chat.
Okay.